So we had the same club head speed, John. I hit 6 down, which isn't that ridiculous compared to what we see all the time.
No.
To 5 up, right? So, and that was from 197 to 270. So I gained 73 yards.
So.
Right? 97,
yeah,
73 yards.
total yards net gain.
73-yard difference. That should be our thumbnail or title to this. 73-yard difference with the same club head speed. Hey guys, so today is the day. Today's the last day where our current prices are going to be valid, where you can sign up and you have the opportunity to get in as a member of CogornoGolf.com for our prices before they go up. So tonight, midnight, our prices go from $69 a month to $89 a month. And then we also have the yearly option for $495, which will go up to $595. So you have all day today. This is your last day to go sign up for those prices. Why should you sign up today? Well, you get access to myself and our awesome team of coaches where you can send in your swing. How many times do you see me in the comments or say, hey, you got to video your swing? That's a good start, but you also need feedback, expert feedback. What priorities to focus on? How many reps to do? What not to focus on? What's important? Hey, how many days a week should I do this? When do I move on? What should it feel like? What to expect? We give you all of those things. You also get access to our unbelievable community where myself and the coaches are there literally every day answering questions, talking golf. We have a new live weekly seminar where I'm in there every Tuesday, 12 p.m. for an hour talking about a topic, answering questions. You have access to all of our practice materials, essentially everything you need to improve, actually improve, make measurable improvements this year on your game. Sign up for CogornoGolf.com. We'll put the link down in the description down below. All right guys, so in today's video, we're gonna talk about one simple adjustment with the driver you can make to hit the ball a lot farther, sometimes as much as 20 to 30 yards. And really what John and I think is the #1 mistake players make with their driver, both that he sees and that I see, the same exact thing. If you guys haven't seen John, this is Mr. John Hutzler, recently a top 100 Golf Digest club fitter down in West Virginia. We're gonna link John's channel down below. He's got an awesome YouTube channel. Beautiful, beautiful club fitter for in-person sessions if you want to go down there. Also our resident expert club fitter at CogornoGolf.com. That was a mouthful, John. Thanks for being out here today. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Got it, man. So John and I were talking, hey, what's the thing we could do with driver that would make the most impact, that would really help all of us hit the ball farther? And we were talking back and forth, and really we think the #1 issue we see is the same exact thing, John. When you're fitting people for clubs, they come in, they say, hey, John, listen, I want to hit the ball farther. I want to hit it better. I want a new driver, right? What's the #1 issue you see that they have with their driver?
I would love to say it's the gear, Eric, but it's not. It's the technique. And hands down, I almost have to dive into their angle of attack because 90% of my customers are always hitting down on the ball, which I know is just creating some severe spin loft issues, and they're just robbing them of distance. So before I even pull anything out of the cabinet, I got to attack this thing first.
Yeah, that's right. So angle of attack, right? So when we come in, if I were to show from the face on angle, John, if you just hop up here for a second, and I'm going to hit one, right? But what we're talking about, guys, from the simplest sense, is this club head, when it works down into the ball, can work down with the angle of attack, which means it's coming from relatively high and striking too far down on the ball. It'd be more of like an iron hit, right? I could hit perfectly level, which would just be like 0, or I could hit a little bit up on it. And what we're gonna hopefully show here through these strikes, and we have some TrackMan charts and things that'll show this quite easily, is with the same club head speed, we could hit the ball wildly far. There's some other variables we'll talk about you got to look out for, but we could hit it wildly farther by just changing that one piece. So why don't I do one, John? We got the foresight on, and I'll do my best to hit down and do kind of what we normally see. Let's see how far that goes, and we'll do the hit up version, right?
Absolutely. Let's give it a whack.
Let's do it down. So for me to hit down, I'm gonna put the ball back too far. I'm gonna put my head forward. I'm gonna open my shoulders, and I'm gonna have a swing direction that's sort of out and across, right? So pay attention to the things I'm gonna do to do the bad version, because likely to do the good version is gonna be the opposite of those, right? So I got the ball back, I have my head forward, my shoulders open, and I'm gonna swing kind of down and to the left here. So let's see if I can get a couple degrees down here on this one, John. Yeah.
That's a Tiger Woods stinger if I ever
That's a
seen
little
it.
stingeroni there. So
Yep.
what are the numbers on that one, John?
So Eric, that one we was 6 degrees down.
6 down, okay.
Right, spin was okay. It's 2,100 degrees. Club head speed about 112, but here's the thing, Eric. At 112 mile an hour, your total carry, 197 yards.
197 yards at 112 miles an hour. And that was 6 degrees down, you said, yeah?
6 degrees down.
So let's see if we can put on a show, and then we could talk some details where I'll try and go 112 again. Let's see if I can go from 6 down to maybe a couple up, right? 3, 4, 5 up, and just see what the difference is. So the speed, we're just looking at speed and angle of attack. I'm gonna try and keep the speed the same, but by changing the angle of attack and a slew of things that'll change along with it, obviously, let's see what the difference is. So now to hit it up more, I'm gonna try and get my club head to swing more up by changing a lot of setup pieces. So now the ball's a little more forward, John. I'm gonna have my shoulders square or slightly closed even. We like that little hand down the leg we'll talk about. Head tilted back a little bit, shoulders closed. I'm gonna feel like I swing the club more kind of low to high and maybe a little bit more from in to out is the feel I'm gonna get with my club head. My head's gonna feel like it stays back. So ball forward, head back, and shoulders closed, swinging high, kind of low to high and a little bit to the right. Let's go ahead and do one of those. So that was much better, John.
Absolutely, completely different ball
A lot
flight.
higher. I might have ramped the speed up a little bit.
Yeah, so, and you know what? We would actually expect this too. So anytime we're hitting down on a ball, we almost kind of get a little bit of speed impact, right?
It like robs you of speed.
It does, absolutely. Yeah. And swinging that in to out definitely helps out. So angle attack on this one, +4.
Plus, okay, for 4 up.
Speed went up to 117, so plus 5 mile an hour, but I mean, that netted 281 yards carry.
So the first one was what, 197 in the air. The second one was 280, right? So some quick math on that, Mary. 85 yards, right? 85-yard difference in carry. Now I cheated there because I swung fast. Let me do one more. Let me try and bring the speed down a little bit to keep it at 112. But that ball went, what did we just say? 85 yards. Carry farther, and I went from 6 down to 4 up. Now let me get the speed because people are going to say we cheated there. So 112. I got a 112 in here, John. Same things. Balls forward. I'm going to feel like tilted, shoulders closed, kind of low to high. Keep the speed 112. So I'm going to swing a little softer. All right, I feel like I brought the speed down. Still kind of the same flight, right?
Yep, similar ball flight.
Come on, John. 112?
Exactly 112.
Okay, good.
Angle attack came down just a fraction, 5 degrees up.
5 up, okay.
Right? So that's still a net 9-degree delta from
difference
being 6 down to 5 up. So really, really good there. And carry, 270 yards.
270. So we had the same club head speed, John. I hit 6 down, which isn't that ridiculous compared to what we see all the time.
No.
To 5 up, right? So, and that was from 197 to 270. So I gained 73 yards.
So,
right? 97,
yeah,
73 yards.
Total yards, net gain.
73-yard difference. That should be our thumbnail or title to this. 73-yard difference with the same club head speed. Now, the point of this, John, and obviously we can go into so much micro and we'll talk more club fitting as we go, right? Because there's so many ways you can help someone gain distance with their driver, tighten their dispersion, regardless of all the stuff we're talking about in this. But just for the sake of this video, that's such a ridiculous gain with the same club head speed. And I see that all the time where players have those opposite pieces, right? Where they have all of the things in their swing where they're gonna hit down on it. And like you said, sometimes when you have someone come in, you might have to go in there and kind of change some of these pieces before you even do the club. And then from there now, we can even optimize this farther.
Yeah, well, you know, I think here's the key takeaway, right, from a club fitting perspective is, you know what can we influence and be attributed to the gear, and what can we change and be attributed to the technique?
Got it.
And I would be doing our customer base a disservice if I didn't disclose the negative AOA issue.
Yeah, like you also got to factor that in, right? You're really going to give them whatever they need to improve, whether that be technique or that be club or both, right? We're going to optimize them. So let's talk through some of the things we see. That was kind of probably the same thing, right? 269 in the air.
AOA is about 4 degrees. Spin was actually a little bit better. I like to spin and not on that last shot. Yeah. Club speed right around the 114 mark.
All right, I'm going to ramp one up just for fun. I want to see what I can actually do if I ramp one up. We'll see how far we can get it, and then we'll talk through what those pieces we would see. I gave him a little hint earlier. So let's see if I can go.
All right, so this is the best Kyle Berkshire.
This is the Eric Cogorno Kyle Berkshire attempt. So I'm going to try and really maximize my angle of attack, still get it center face or slightly high and ramp the speed up a little bit. So the ball's teed high, ball's forward, I'm tilting. I'm gonna really feel like my head stays back as my hips push forward and the club's going more low to high. The key here is I gotta get that centered contact still, John. So I think I struck that a little too high on the face potentially.
Yeah, definitely I can say strike point was a little higher. Definitely reached another layer of the stratosphere there. Angle attack, 6 degrees.
6 up, okay.
Yeah, definitely. And we can see that the low spin in that one was definitely attributed to that high strike. But
yep.
My man, that's 124 mile an hour club head speed, 306 carry.
Okay.
All right.
All right, okay, no big deal there. So I probably, John, I think even if I'm just gonna grab a tee or two out here, I could probably even, maybe a little bit more than that, maybe even get one to like 310-ish. But I want to talk through what I'm doing to do this, right, and to be able to hit up kind of before we even get to the speed stuff. And there's a couple of variables that I mentioned. I'm going to see, John, if you agree with this and you see the same elements. I mentioned several setup pieces. And I would say the simple adjustment that we're talking about here, guys, and the biggest mistake is learning how to hit up on it versus hitting down. But that one simple adjustment, right, there's really multiple pieces involved there. So it's one simple adjustment, but there could be 6 ways to do that one simple adjustment, right? So John, you tell me if you think different or you see these same pieces. At the setup position, I would look at ball position, tee height, tilt. Would kind of be the first couple that I would look at with someone. Yep. So if I see someone come in, John, and their ball position's too far back, most cases, some people from there will still kind of work it from inside and get it, but most people when the ball's back, they're hitting too far down, generally speaking. Now, you could also have people too far forward hitting down, but I would like to see the ball position for most people kind of in line with the lead armpit. Logo, maybe as far back as you feel comfortable. Shoulder might be kind of on the top edge, but somewhere in that safe zone. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the goal is to try to catch the ball on the up part of the swing. So just after it reaches low point, we want that club to start working its way up.
Hitting on the way up. So I'd say that ball position's pretty safe there. I like to tee the ball where probably 3/4 of it is above the top. Now, if we look at this here, I've got that teed a little higher than normal. So I kind of have the whole ball above it. But you know, the part of that point being is if I tee the ball very low, it's hard to hit up on it.
It's hard. It's from a psychological perspective, right? The 6 inches between the ears, we tee it down, we feel that we're going to top the ball if we're trying to swing up.
And there's just not a lot of room, right?
Like, it doesn't give you that much room.
Yeah, I mean, if the ball's down here, it's like, how the heck do I even get the club underneath the ball, right? So the TI part, and then the tilt, I think the tilt is huge. There'd be a 1-to-1 correlation. Remember when I hit the low one, right? If I do the low one more time, I'm gonna make my head go forward, so my shoulders are more level, and the thing we'd see associated with that would be the shoulders be open. So if I had open shoulders with my head forward, if we draw a line up from the ball, notice that's like in line with my head. If I wanna hit up, my head should be behind the ball. Literally, if I put that line up, there should be a space here between my ear and that line. I should keep that space, and even a lot of players will back out of that space a little bit. So I've got to have some tilt. And John and I both kind of were looking at the same thing. I'd put the hand on the leg and get that down to the kneecap or on the side of the leg and get that down to my kneecap. So my spine is tilting to the right.
Yep, and then the number one thing I like to look at, guys, if you're actually filming your swing, is that pay attention to your buttons on your shirt, right? If you're actually hitting down, pretty good chance that those buttons will be in line with that vertical plane, and then if you're actually hitting up, they'll be tilting more to the
This angle will be kind of this way.
100%.
Yeah. And I would see players that do that well, the shoulders are square or even slightly closed. So pointed to the right for me. And my right shoulder's pulled back a little bit. That'll help keep that line on there. So balls forward. I like the feet outside of shoulder width, John, just as a stock ratio, angles outside of shoulders. Head's behind the ball. I'm gonna keep my head behind the ball, and feel like that club goes kind of low to high is the sensations we have.
All right, so if the last swing was Cal Berkshire, let's see a Bryson DeChambeau swing.
Oh boy, okay. So head stays back. So I don't know if I struck that one quite as well. Yeah, a little on the toe.
Yeah, so even for a miss hit, still 5 degrees up, Eric.
So I got that part down.
Club speed 124. Yeah, AOA is perfect. Apex clocking in rate about 110, and now still 290.
290. And those, like what I'm imagining, John, as I'm doing that, is I imagine there's a wall here, like this, even with the golf ball, right? So I like to even put a club down there. And I like to have that about even with my armpit, but I notice this line here, like this wall, see how there's that distance between my ear and my head, right at my setup position? I'm imagining that there's a wall there and I'm making a full 90-degree shoulder turn. My head is staying behind that wall, might even move away from the wall a touch. And then when I come down, I'm not gonna hit back on the wall. My head never gets back to the wall. It gets back to the distance I started and stays on that, or even backs up a little bit, right, on my way through. My hips and weight are still pushing forward, but my head stays back. Obviously, by the amount of times I've repeated that, you can tell I think the head back, right, the tilting and extension, so important for hitting up on the ball. So let's just do one more with that, the good versus bad ones. Now, as I'm hitting up, John, what are some of the things I would expect to see as a benefit of that? Ball flight wise or numbers wise?
Yeah, so the key things that we definitely, a couple of the numbers that I always like to look at is, one, I gotta make sure we don't get the launch in a higher category. So ideal launch for somebody that's swinging right around 120 to 125 mile an hour would be anywhere between, say, 11 to 13 would be a good comfortable range. 13 we start to get, a little excessive.
Okay.
So I'm trying to stay within that window. Backspin. We got to try to make sure, the key of the game is high launch, low spin. So we want to make sure that we're actually, keeping that backspin in check as well, but we don't want to get it too low.
Right, okay.
Because part of the problem is when we start to hit up on it, we access a different part of the head and strike it higher. Obviously, we know the gear effect's going to gear the ball down and backspin's going to come down, which could cause some, some aggressive curvature issues.
Okay. But and if I do it well, the flight difference is you'd see it launch higher, right? That'd be like if I was hitting, I didn't have a launch monitor. Like, how do I know if I hit up? One of the first things you probably see is the freaking apex would be a lot higher, right?
Yeah, you're going to access a different window for sure.
That ball's going to launch louder. So ball forward, hand down the leg to my kneecap. So I'm tilted. My shoulders are square to closed. I'm keeping my head behind the ball and swinging the club more kind of low to high and a little to the right. Again, some of those are personal sensations, but those are pretty common feels here. Let's see what we got here, John. Oh, that felt good. I think I had a bad ball though, John.
As I was gonna say, it looked like a little curvature there.
Yeah, that was a bad range ball, man.
Yeah, I mean, its backspin really wasn't that bad. It was 1900 backspin on that, and that's okay. Apex,
crush that.
right around 110, 296 in the air.
Okay.
I mean, that's nothing to shake a stick at.
What was the club head speed there, John?
Club head speed, 123. So you're kind of like really right there, 123, 124.
That's pretty good for me. I would take that. So just to reiterate, maybe we could put like, this would be like the good versus bad part of that. Here's the bad, John, right? Probably feet narrow, ball back, head forward, shoulders open. This would kind of be the bad look. So there's bad. Here'd be the good look. If I was gonna fix that, I'd get this. I'd go right foot back, right? And get my head back with it. Like this. That'd almost be the fix, wouldn't you say? I'd almost just go like boom, pull that right shoulder back. All right, last one. Let's see what we got here, John. We're gonna go 5 up, 125, 310 carry. Might have done it. Hit that one, struck that well, John.
That would be one I say, that's the one we're gonna end on. That was beautiful. You actually carried it into the trees back there.
5.5. See if we got the speed right.
124 club, 297.
Damn.
It was close.
All
Backspin was just a little bit lower.
So I don't have the Bryson or the Berkshire in me, but.
Well, good news is, Eric, technique is solid, but might want to revisit the driver.
We might have to do another video, get the kid in the new driver fit. Guys, if you want to visit John, see his awesome studio, watch his YouTube videos, we're going to put a link down to his information in the description down below. If you want to come check out CogornoGolf.com, like I said, John's in there answering all kinds of questions all the time. A lot of personal videos back to people. You would love it. We'll put that on the screen. We'll also put a similar style video. Thank you guys for watching. John, thanks for coming out, man.
Thanks,
Appreciate
my man.
you.